Welcome to Lesson 3. This is part 2 of 5 parts. Be sure you have completed all prior videos in this lesson before watching this one. In this segment, we're going to add the task dependencies and add some additional notes that will help to document our tasks. This chart is a reminder of the different types of dependencies. The finish to start dependency is the most common, and it's a good one to use for all tasks when you are just starting to learn MS Project. During this course, we will only look at the FS dependency. Using the FS dependency makes the plan more dynamic, with the downside that you may need to track some project information in a different way. In this segment, the notes and hyperlinks are good places to store some information. One thing we may want to do before adding dependencies is neaten up our view a little bit. Using the drag and drop feature, we can move the work and duration columns to be next to each other, as well as the predecessor and successor column. It might also be a good idea to show the type column, which will show you the type of each task. All the tasks you create should be fixed work, with the exception of summary tasks, which are always fixed duration. Add either the predecessor and/or successor column as necessary. There are multiple ways to add dependencies, and in each case, the predecessor and successor columns will show the task numbers. Task numbers are the automatic numbers project assigns on the far left-hand side of the table. In fact, one way to add a predecessor task is to type the task number of the predecessor right in the cell. One way we can add a dependency is to use the linking tool. Using multi-select, select the tasks Assign Launch Team Members and Design and Order Marketing Material. Go to the Task tab and look for the linking tool in the Schedule group. As soon as we click this, Project will add the arrow to the Gantt chart to show the dependency and update the predecessor column. Now let's take a look at another way to add the dependency. Select the Milestone task. On the Task tab, in the Properties group, click on Information. Then click on the Predecessors tab of the pop-up information box. On the Task List Name column, note that it is a drop-down. Select the task name Design and Order Marketing Material. We just added another dependency with another method. Next, using one of the methods we've seen so far, link the public launch phase tasks in succession. Drag and drop is yet another way to add dependencies. Hover over the milestone symbol on the Gantt chart. When the appearance changes, click and drag down to the first task under the public launch phase summary task. While you can link summary tasks, it's not considered a good practice, so we're not going to link summary tasks during this course. This action is saying, once we complete the planning, we can start the first task of the public launch phase. Note that if your drag and drop is not working, there may be an option among the advanced options that you did not check. Allow cell drag and drop. Now, to finish up, change the last task back to auto schedule and observe how a date is filled back in. Add a new task at the end of the current tasks and name it Launch Social Media Programs. Link this task to the previous task to create the dependency. In planning meetings, We learn a lot of useful information about our project that isn't always directly about time, resources, or budget. Sometimes we get performance direction or some other instructions on how to carry out certain tasks. So, who will we distribute advance copies of the book to? We learned in the meeting that the publicist for the company keeps a list. So we can right-click on the task, Distribute Advance Copies, and select Notes from the menu. Here we can add the note reminding ourselves and the team where to get the distribution list. Once you close the box, a yellow sticky note will appear in the indicator column. If we hover over the sticky note, we can read the text in a pop-up tooltip box. Another useful feature is the ability to add hyperlinks using the same dialog box available in other Microsoft products. One use for this feature is to put the URL of a tool, for example SharePoint or a wiki, where we may have additional information about the task, such as training materials, documentation, or other guidance for completing the work. In our example, we want to be sure that the PMCP class for Spring 2016 is informed of the new book via an update to the online course catalog. We can type Add to Spring 2016 Catalog as the text for the hyperlink, which will jump to the catalog page when clicked or opened. For this step, right-click on the task, Launch Public Web Portal for Book, and select Hyperlink from the menu. Type Add to Spring 2016 Catalog for text and http://sdce.edu for the URL. When you click OK, a globe with a link appears in the indicator cell for the task. Point to the hyperlink, right-click, and select Hyperlink, Open Hyperlink. The default browser on your computer will open the URL you just stored. Now it's time for another demonstration. Here we are again in Microsoft Project with our project open in the same state it was at the end of the last navigation session. I'm going to start by opening up the pane just a little bit, and I'm going to add the new column Successors so that we can see the results of linking tasks together with dependencies. So I now have that column available. So the first task called for us to link the assign launch team members and the design and order marketing material task together using the link icon. So we can simply select these two tasks. I do a shift click and use the link icon here in schedule to link the two tasks together. And you can see on the Gantt chart that I have a finish to start dependency. Notice also that design and order marketing material has now moved out. It skipped the weekend because of the working calendar, and it is positioned to be after assigning launch team members. The next task was to link the milestone with design and order. So we can do that by selecting Plan Completed, and I can open up the information, the properties, the task information. I can go to the predecessors, and in the task name area there's a drop-down, and I can say that the predecessor is design and order marketing material. And you'll notice that it's automatically finished to start. I click OK. Now I've got that linked in. Now the next step was to link the milestone to the first task of the public launch phase, and we're going to do that with drag and drop. What I do here is I hover over the milestone. You'll notice that it's changed form. It's got those 4 outward pointing arrows, but I can't quite see distribute advanced copies. So I'm going to push the pane back a bit. Once again, wait for it to change. And now I can drag from the end of milestone to the beginning of distribute advanced copies. And notice how that task now has also moved over. Now we can link all the tasks in succession using any of the techniques. I'm just going to do it now by using the link icon. That's quite possibly the easiest. And notice everything has moved out now. It's still not in its proper or final place because we don't have resources. And you'll notice that the predecessors column has been filled in with task numbers. The 6 here, for example, for Launch Public Web Portal is the 6 that is the task number here automatically assigned by Microsoft Project. Now the next step was to create a note. So we're going to click on Distribute Advanced Copies. If I right-click here, you'll see I have notes. I can type a note now into this field, get recipient list from publicist. And as soon as I click OK, you'll notice I have a yellow sticky note, and when I hover over it, I can see the tooltip that says Get Recipient List from Publicist. Then finally, we want to put a hyperlink on Launch Public Web Portal. So again, I right-click. I select Hyperlink from the bottom of that menu. For text to display, I type Add to Spring 2016 Catalog. And for the hyperlink, we're just going to put http://sdce.edu. Click OK. And now I have a hyperlink here. And if I right-click on the hyperlink and go to the bottom item, you'll see now that I have a choice to open the hyperlink. I'll select that. And using the default browser on my laptop, which happens to be Google Chrome, it will open sdce.edu. That ends this navigation session. Hope you have a file that's looking similar to mine. Don't forget to save your output for the next navigational video. Now it's time for you to practice. Enter the dependencies from the slides using the techniques specified. Change the one task to auto-scheduled. Add the note and hyperlink. When you are done, resave your file. Here is how the entry table should look after your practice. Note the indicators for notes and hyperlinks. The tasks have different starting dates due to the dependencies. However, the durations are still unknown since we are missing resources. Another effect of adding dependencies is the milestone moved out to the correct position. Some of the uncertainty went away on the Launch Public Web Portal task since we made it automatically scheduled and added a dependency. Note that project assumes a duration of 1 day even when work is unknown. 0 work because we didn't enter a number just yet. Like many plans, we may need to get started with the information at hand and fill in more detail as we make progress. Lesson 3 consists of 5 parts. You just completed Part 2 of 5. Please proceed to watch Part 3.